I would last to ask 3 volunteers. Yung mag-volunteer sa inyo. Kung hindi ako magtatawag na lang.
Teo.
Hindi, pagbasahin na kayo ng doctor.
Wala. Okay, sila.
Masti, go!
Sige. Anong name mo?
Teo
Teo.
Masti, no?
Sino pa? Volunteer. Anong name mo?
Austin po.
Ha?
Austin.
Austin. Okay. Isa pa, babae. Daphne. Wala na, nagpikit. Yeah. So each one of them will be receiving an ice cream. Okay? So when you receive the ice cube, okay? Pag nakuha nila ice cube, you time them kung hanggang gaano katagal nila mahawakan yung ice cube. Okay? Hanggang hindi nila kaya. Okay? Time nyo ha, gaano oras yan?
Bawal lipat ah. Go, Austin! Austin, kaya mo.
Hindi nila kaya.
Rompa yan.
Natutunaw na
yun.
Yan natin sinukunan. Oh, wala pang ano ah. Laki ng seconds na sila. 50. Sila na. Ang galing po tatlo ah. Kaya pa. Kaya pa.
Without a floater.
Kung natutunan na lahat. Ilang seconds? 140. Nakapalagay yung 5 minutes.
Dagdagan natin, sir.
Parang gusto din namin dito lang gawin.
Hindi ka sa mukha.
May price daw mananalo.
Yung price.
Sa'yo na yung isang baso doon.
Isang baso na yun.
Ay, napapatagalan sila.
Wala pang ano ah.
Makapal po kasi yung kal.
Mukha nga.
Hindi mo na talaga bumibigay.
Oo nga eh. Mukhang matindi. No? Dagdagan natin. Para sa bibig. Sa loob ng damit. Kaya ba? Kaya ba? Lahat ba? Hindi, nagdagan natin.
Maraming iba. Austin siya.
Ay, ginadagdag na. Siya din daw sa sana yung ito din.
Halika kayo. Sasali ka? Sali ka?
Sali yan. Okay lang, sir.
Sige, halika. Sali ka. Start siya ng line si Kylie, ah.
Tingin sa laptop lang.
Inasa nakataas yung kamay habang ginagawa.
Ayun daw yung crank up niya.
Naka-laptop na lang.
Oh, ganun. Wala talaga.
Brillante na.
Kaya ba?
Chay.
Kaya ba? Ganun.
Sabi ni Kylie.
Tayo, ah.
Kaya naman, sir.
Galing naman. Si Austin, no, purple na yung nail beds. Give up siya.
Uy, pwede naman mag-give up.
Ayaw eh.
Mag-floater next Tuesday.
Pili ko. Pakipag-bed. Nung pila ko na mag-give up, yung pila nasa dulo. 5 minutes lang.
Ilang minutes?
5 minutes.
20 sa Kylie ko 1
5
second.
minutes.
Hindi pa kayo sa
Oh, dali na. 5 minutes. Dali mo dali ka.
naman ng gold to now.
Hindi bed niya.
Ako lang lang.
Grabe, hindi na kayo makakapag-spinal.
Ay, okay ka na. Happy, okay ka na. Okay pa lahat ah. Ikaw kayo.
Sir, pwede na natin yung mainit naman.
Wala eh, meron pang ano.
Ano nga ba yun? Ano yung
Uling. Charcoal.
Yero ba talaga itong binigay mo? Parang ano, Ana.
Mainit kasi, sir. Mainit. Gusto nila ngayon yan. Mainit kasi.
Ano, kaya ba? Mukhang mag-lecture na ako, di pa kayo tapos. Kylie, okay ka pa?
Ayaw nila kami.
Ikaw, gigib up ka na?
Nakakahiya.
Nakakaya ba?
Ano, kaya mo ba?
Kaya ba?
Rosy chick ka
Isa
sa
pa daw.
Rosy face yan eh. Kaya
I go first.
Sabi niyo, 10 minutes na.
7 minutes.
10 minutes na, tapos na.
parang hindi ko kaya. Parang may nagaling kung ako ng yelo.
pwede lang mag-give up. Okay na, napatunayan nyo na.
Unang plus point to 5 minutes.
Kasi nainit na rin kami dito.
Pwede, yung ba't ganyan yung eyes mo? Ang laki pa. Hindi natutunaw.
Sige, tama na.
Hindi mo lang.
Okay.
Kahit hindi ka pa tapos.
So, Steve, can you please tell them what is the worst pain score na nararamdaman mo? 7. Ikaw, Dave. 3. Ikaw na.
Makapal to,
6.
makapal.
Ikaw, ay.
Mga 6 kami.
6. Okay, sige. Mamaya. i-discuss. Okay, thank you.
Ay, grabe. Six.
Magbigay kami.
Lamig. Yes, hapon.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Again, good afternoon. No? So we will be discussing post-operative pain management for this day. I just only have one objective for this lecture, no? For you to memorize and understand what is the pain pathway. Yun lang. Yun lang yung gusto ko. At least yun lang mabaon nyo bago kayo mag-isip sa kwarto na to. Right? Okay. Actually, what is pain? According to the International Association for the Study of Pain, pain is an unpleasant sensory or emotional experience or with actual or potential tissue damage or described in terms of such damage. As you can see, no, emotional and sensory. It doesn't just involve the sensory component. It also involves an emotional component. Every pain can be exacerbated by an emotion aside from the physical pain that you are feeling. And according to the Royal College of Surgeons, any failure to relieve pain is both morally and ethically unacceptable. And also, all patients have the right to pain relief. And also in the Declaration of Montreal in 2011, access to pain management is actually a fundamental human right. So every one of us, no, should have pain relief whenever needed. And specifically, if your patient is in pain, no, tapos sabihin nyo, parang mukhang naman hindi in pain to, don't assume na wala silang pain. Okay? So, always treat them as if they're having pain, even if they don't look like they're having pain. Okay? So, these are two types of pain according to duration. So, the acute and chronic. For the acute, it's usually less than 3 months. It's sudden, it's short in duration, and it's well characterized. The problem is, if you have acute pain and it's not controlled, it can eventually lead to chronic pain, which will be very, very difficult to treat because there are more receptors that you have to close if you have chronic pain. Okay, so the chronic pain is usually lasts for 3 months and it's usually recurring. And why do we need to treat acute pain? Because inadequate pain management has substantial consequences for our patients. What are these? If you have, for example, meron kang patient, trauma patient that has history of MI, and post-operatively, the patient had pain. First, of course, if there's a stimulus, there will be releasing catecholamines, or epinephrine, which will lead to increased empathetic activity. That increased empathetic activity can lead to myocardial oxygen consumption. It can lead to myocardial infarction. Okay? Aside from that, GI, for example, no? What happens in the GI? There will be delayed gastric motility. How about in the lungs? There will be splinting. Okay? There will be splinting, there will be shallow breathing. It can lead to atelectasis and eventually lead to pneumonia. What happens in catabolic demands? There will be poor wound healing. Okay? There will be weakness in impaired rehab. And also, the emotional component, there will be anxiety, there will be fear, okay? And sleeplessness, which eventually lead to psychological distress. And the thing that we are most fear of, no, we want to avoid is having chronic pain. There will be central and peripheral sensitization, which lead to neuroplasticity and eventually lead to chronic pain. So that's what we are avoiding.
Now, how is it transmitted? So, do you ever wonder paano nagkakaroon ng pain? No, how pain is developed? There are 4 steps. Remember, no? Transduction, transmission, perception, and modulation. Okay? Later, mas i-discuss natin in detail yan. Okay? So again, transduction, transmission, perception, and then modulation. So remember TTPM. Okay? Transduction, di ba dalawang T yan? So D comes before the M. So transduction, transmission, then perception, and then modulation. I-discuss natin one by one kung ano yan. Again, so we have various pain receptors. No? There are sensory receptors. They pick up the sensory stimulus, which is attached. No? There are the external receptors. Like for example, so there will be pain, there can be pain, there will be vibration, there will be temperature. Okay? So there are external factors and there are internal factors. Internal factors, there are proprioception. And I think do you still recognize the sensory receptors, the facial corpuscles, the Merkels, okay? So these are the pain receptors that are going to be seen. So the sensory receptors has to have a stimulus, no? Okay? First, to have a stimulus, of course, you will have to have an injury. Here, for example, sa hand, okay? For example, you cut your finger. So when you cut your finger, there will be inflammatory mediators that will be coming out. Ano yung mga inflammatory mediators that you know? Anyone? What are the inflammatory mediators that you know? Tara.
Interleukins, diba? Prostaglandin.
Oh, dyan nakasulat na. Prostaglandin, yung interleukins, okay? Your bradykinins, no? The histamine. So these receptors or these inflammatory mediators will come out. If they come out, they will be transmitting an impulse going to your dorsal root ganglion. Okay? So that stimulus, that action potential from the free nerve endings will be going to your dorsal root ganglion. What part? In this spinal cord, the dorsal root ganglion. Okay? And then it will be going to the brain. So i-discuss natin yan, no? So this is the transverse section of the spinal cord. So you'll see the white matter and the gray matter. So there are, if you look at the transverse section, no, we see that the gray matter is in the middle and the white matter is outside. Okay? So the white matter consists of the myelinated ascending and descending tracts that we will see. There are various tracts that you will see in the white matter, but the most important thing is the spinothalamic tract. Okay? Particularly the lateral spinothalamic tract. If there are ascending pathways, there are also descending pathways. Okay? So ascending pathway, remember, is the motor component. The descending is the ascending is the sensory component and the descending is the motor component. Now, okay. So it will be starting for the first order neuron, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. From the first order neuron, it will be coming from the stimulus itself, no? The stimulus from the free nerve endings going to the dorsal root ganglion. That is the first order neuron. That is the first step. What is the first step? Transduction. Okay, so transduction from the stimulus or the free nerve endings going to the dorsal root ganglion is the first order neuron or the first step. Synapsing to the second order neuron which will be going up, is the second order neuron, which will be what we call the transmission. No? So, from transduction, ibig sabihin nun, yung mga pain chemicals nyo, no? It will be referred to the second order neuron going to the dorsal root ganglion. From the dorsal root ganglion, it will cross on the contralateral side and then going up, which will be transmitted to the what we call the thalamus, which is the third order neuron. Again, dito natin, no? So from the free nerve endings, okay, the nociceptors that we know, there are different types of stimulus. It can be mechanical, it can be thermal, which yung ginawa natin kanina, and it can be chemical. Okay? So what are the pain fibers that you know? Anyone? Pain fibers. Kylie. C fibers and the A delta fibers. So the A delta fibers are the myelinated. So they are fast, no? So 6 to 30 meters per second. How would you describe if you have pain manifested by the A delta fibers? Anyone? Sharp. Okay. And localized. Okay? It's because of the myelinated nerve endings. Okay? Because of the myelination, you can localize your pain. And it's very fast. No? You can, for example, nakat mo yung hand mo, okay? Or you burn your hand. So that can manifest as because of the A delta fibers. So what happens if you have the C fibers is activated? So the pain will be what? Dull, aching, no? So you cannot localize. What are the examples of C fiber pain, for example? Anyone? Angelo. For example, ito, nakikita mo na siya, di ba? Anong pain niya? Anyone? Anong pain ang nararamdaman niya?
Abdominal.
Abdominal pain. So, in the abdomen, what is the structure that you have to consider? Your what? Visceral structures. So, if you have visceral pain, it's usually because of the C fibers. Okay, so it's poorly localized, you cannot really localize, and it's dull and it's aching. So that are the two that you have to remember. Okay, so what are the receptors that you have to remember? So the mechanical receptors, the thermal receptors, and the chemical receptors. For fast pain or the A delta, you can see that there are mechanical and thermal receptors. But for the chemical, it's included in the slow pain. Okay? So again, ulitin natin. From the free nerve endings or the nociceptors, it will be releasing prostaglandins or inflammatory mediators. Your prostaglandin is an inflammatory mediator which will be released. And then, that is the first step. What is the first step? Transduction. It will be going to what? The dorsal root ganglia. Okay, so that's transduction. After that, it will be synapsing in the dorsal root ganglion, going to the contralateral side, and then going up. If it goes up to the thalamus, that is the what step? Transmission, which is the second order neuron. Okay? So, the spinothalamic tract consists of the type of stimulus, of course, there will be mechanical, thermal, and chemical receptors, which will be stimulating the dorsal root ganglion, and then crosses contralateral side, and then goes up to the brain, which is the thalamus. Okay? The most important thing that you have to remember is in the dorsal root ganglion, no, there's what we call the gelatinous substance or substantia gelatinosa. Mamaya, i-discuss natin why is it important in pain. Okay? So, we discussed transduction and then transmission. It will be transmitted to what part of the brain? The thalamus. The thalamus is what? Anong ginagawa ng thalamus? What does the thalamus do?
Receive sensory input po.
Yes, and
Relays the information. Okay? It relays the information. The thalamus relays the information. And then, for example, you have a cut, no? Remember, this is in the your left hand has been cut. And then, it will be releasing various chemicals. For example, your prostaglandins. The prostaglandin will be eliciting an action potential going to the dorsal root ganglion. This is the left hand. After that, it will be going to the contralateral side, okay, and then going up, which will be your transmission. Okay. After that, if the pain is transmitted going up, and then it goes to the thalamus. It will go into the thalamus. That is the part that it will be synapsing. That is the third order neuron, which will be going to the somatosensory cortex. The somatosensory, remember the somatosensory cortex is the Brodmann 321. And do you remember the homunculus? You remember the homunculus? Yeah. So, for example, may injury ka sa hand, no? That is where the injury will be perceived, no? So, example, dito sa hand. Okay? Remember, so if the injury is in the right hand, the information will be received on the left side of the brain. Okay? On the contralateral side. So, ano mangyayari? So, again, transduction from the sensory fibers going to the dorsal root ganglion. From the dorsal root ganglion, crossing to the contralateral side and goes to the thalamus, that is the transmission. And then from the thalamus, going to the somatosensory concept is the what step? Anong step? Kanina nakaka-discuss natin. Perception. Kasi, di ba, it will be transducted and then transmitted to the brain. The brain will perceive it. That's why it's perception. So it will be perceived in the brain, in the somatosensory cortex. So that is the third order neuron. Okay? Meron pa bang fourth order neuron? Wala na. So what happens next? Okay? So again, this is the stimulus. Okay? From the left hand. Okay? It will be transmitting the impulse action potential going to the dorsal ganglion, crossing to the contralateral side, and we go into the thalamus and then relate to the somatosensory cortex, which your brain will be perceiving. After that, what happens? If there's an ascending pathway, there's a descending pathway. So anong ginagawa ng descending pathway? So the descending pathway actually starts from the periaqueductal brain, or the PAG. So the descending pathway, as you can see in this part, no? So nagtataka kayo, ano pa ginagawa ng descending pathway? That is the one that is responsible for controlling or inhibiting the ascending pathway. Kasi if the pain is transmitted here, the descending pathway will be the one to what? Anong ginagawa ng descending pathway? Any idea? What will happen? Motor component. Yes, because there will be withdrawal or what we call the withdrawal reflex. But also, what happens aside from that? Okay, so there's the what we call the serotonin norepinephrine neuron. Ito yun. Starting from the periaqueductal gray, going down to the dorsal root ganglion again. Okay, so what happens in detail? Okay, so here. So this is the periaqueductal gray going down to the dorsal root ganglion. So that's why it's very important that you see in the dorsal root ganglion, there is what we call the substanda gelatinosa. This is what happens. So the first order neuron, saan galing yung first order neuron? Starting from the free nerve endings going to the second order neuron, which is in the dorsal root ganglion, di ba? Okay. So this is the first order neuron. This is the second order neuron. The first order neuron, by the way, will be releasing substance P. Substance P in the form of these vesicles. This substance P will be stimulating your second order neuron for it to elicit an action potential, di ba? Okay. So kanina, ang nangyari, prostaglandin, okay, will be released going to the dorsal root ganglion. The action potential on the first order neuron, it will be releasing substance P. Okay? The substance P will be stimulating the second order neuron, which will be initiating an action potential. What happens is dito sa descending neuron, ito yun, di ba? Descending neuron has the serotonin and norepinephrine neuron, what we call that, no? These norepinephrine and serotonin will be actually releasing their vesicles, and what it does is it inhibits the substance P from being released, and thus preventing the action potential. Naintindihan? Okay? Do you get it? Ang ginagawa ng serotonin norepinephrine descending pathway, it inhibits the ascending pathway from being stimulated. What happens is the norepinephrine and your serotonin neuron, which is in descending pathway, which will be the one to prevent the substance B from being released into the second order. And also, one other important thing, it will be stimulating what we call an interneuron. This interneuron is the one responsible for releasing your enkephalins. Your enkephalin is actually an opioid. Your opioid, the good thing with your opioid, it actually inhibits the first order neuron and the second order neuron, which will be inhibiting the transmission of pain, inhibiting the substance P, and also the transmission of action potential of the second order neuron. So, ganun ang ginagawa ng descending pathway. Okay? Again, that is, yung descending pathway, anong step yun? Modulation. Okay? Again, transduction, transmission, and then the brain will perceive it, and then if the brain perceives the pain, it will be modulated by the descending pathway. Okay? So again, I'll be repeating it again, no? This is the injury. Okay? It will go to the dorsal root ganglion of the spinal cord. Okay? It will be crossing on the contralateral side, and then goes to the thalamus. The thalamus, this is the transduction. And then from the second order neuron, which will be going to the thalamus, is the transmission. Okay? From the second order neuron, from the thalamus, go to the somatosensory cortex. That is what we call the perception, which will be the third order neuron. So pag na-perceive na ng brain, yung pain, the descending modulation will be activated, or the descending pathway. It will be starting from the periaqueductal grade. So this is the norepinephrine and serotonin neuron, which will be inhibiting the dorsal root ganglion or the transmission of pain because of the substantia gelatinosa. Okay? So again, no? Transduction, transmission, perception, modulation. Yun lang. I just want you to remember that when you go out of this room. That's the most important thing that you have to remember. So, if you have been having acute pain, it's important to assess. No? How will you assess your pain? How do you assess? Paano ba kayo mag-assess? What do you use for assessing pain? Anyone? Austin, how do you assess pain? Your pain. Saan ba ginagamit ito to assess pain? Ha?
Pain scale. What pain scale? What pain scale?
Para NRS po.
NRS. Okay. NRS can be used. But, okay, so, how do we assess pain in our patients? When you actually use your visual analog scale, your visual analog scale is an 11-point scale. No? It's 0 to 10. If you will be saying, no, if it's mild pain, the VAS score is 1 to 3. If it's moderate pain, the pain score is 4 to 6. And if the pain is 7 and above, of course, it's severe pain. If you'll be using your VAS or your visual analog scale, it is already sufficient. No? 99% of the time, you'll be correct. Okay? But remember that pain is subjective. Subjective. No? Kaya, when you monitor pain, don't assume the pain scores. Because if you assume the pain score, you're making an ass out of you and me. Okay? So, don't assume. Okay? Kasi, if you assume their pain score, at sinabi mo, mukhang 3 lang yan. Pero in actual, 7 siya. No? So, don't assume the pain score. Okay? That's the most important thing. Okay? Because it is important to document pain. Now, if you don't have a VAS or a visual analog scale, you use your verbal pain score. So verbal pain score, or is like the numerical rating scale, because if you document the VAS or the pain score, you're actually you're giving patients analgesics, compared when you're not documenting your pain score. Okay? Now, the most important thing also that you have to remember is what we call the WHO step ladder, or the 3-step ladder. Step 1, you use your non-opioids and adjuvants. Step 1 is what? Anong VAS score mo usually pag step 1? Anyone? Joko? 1 to 3. If the VAS score is 1 to 3, you follow your step 1. Step 1, ano yung makikita mo? Non-opioid. Ano ba yung mga non-opioids na alam mo? What are the non-opioids that you know? Paracetamol, ano pa? Angelo?
Diclofenac.
Ha?
Diclofenac.
Diclofenac, which is in a what? Anong classification niya? What is the classification of your diclofenac? NSAID. So, what is also included here? Eh, nakasulat na oh. NSAID, aspirin, and your COX-2 inhibitors. What are your COX-2 inhibitors na alam nyo? Celecoxib. Okay? So if your patient has mild pain, you can give your non-opioids, your NSAIDs, your aspirin, COX-2 inhibitors. If your patient has moderate pain, you can give your weak analgesics, which are your tramadol and your codeine. And also, you can also add the NSAIDs, no? If needed. And also, we have to take into consideration yung adjuvant. Yung adjuvant, those are your gabapentinoids, like your gabapentin and your pregabalin. So, if your patient will be having neuropathic pain, you can add that. So, that is included in every step. But you have to remember, if the pain is, the patient is experiencing mild, moderate pain, you give your weak analgesics, like your tramadol and your codeine. But if your patient has a VAS score of 7 and above, you can give your morphine, your fentanyl, and your methadone. These are your full agonists, no? These are your full agonist opioids. And also, you can also give your NSAIDs, no, and aspirin and COX inhibitors. Okay? Now, by statistics, acute post-op pain is often inadequately managed. No? Around 75% of patients with post-op pain reports that they have moderate pain. So, I think baka hindi nyo na papansin or baka hindi nyo na monitor, they are experiencing moderate to severe pain. And less than half of these patients who undergo surgery, they say they had adequate pain relief, and 58% are actually discharged with pain. So that's a glaring, very, very glaring statistics that you have to remember. Actually, pwede nyo gawin sa research na to, pain scores lang, di ba? So I'm just giving you an idea, okay? So what are the pitfalls of the current pain therapy? First, pain, as we have mentioned, it's subjective and it's multi-dimensional. And the current modalities of pain control often rely on a single drug strategy. Kasi mapapansin nyo, ang pain reliever lang ng patient nyo, for example, celecoxib lang, paracetamol lang, post-op to or tramadol lang. No single analgesic can treat all types of pain. That's the most important thing that you have to remember. And because of that, there's what we call oligoanalgesia, or the undertreatment of your pain. What's the rationale for what we call the multimodal analgesia? First, what are the potential benefits? Broader spectrum of action, multiple mechanisms, greater efficacy, and potential for synergistic response, better compliance, complementary pharmacokinetics, and better efficiency and safety ratio. If you remember the isobologram, no? You have the additive effect and the synergistic effect. If it's an additive effect, it is a basic pharma. 1 plus 1 equals ilan? 2. If it's synergistic, 1 plus 1 equals 3. Ganon ng effect ng synergism. Okay? So that's why it's very important for us to understand the concept of multimodal analgesia. So multimodal analgesia, you combine 2 or 3 drugs with different modes of action that will have a synergistic effect with each other. They will have greater efficacy, lower analgesic doses, and fewer undesirable side effects. Kasi mas konti binibigay yung dose ng drug, ng isang drug, both drugs, no? And then there will be optimal effect with that. Again, if you will be combining different modes of action, this is where the pain relievers actually work. So transduction, NSAIDs, aspirin, paracetamol, and opioids work there. Transmission, opioids lang. Perception, opioids, SSRIs, SNRIs, and TCAs. SSRIs are your selective serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, and your serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. These are SNRIs. Your TCAs are your tricyclic antidepressants. Okay? So these are the different drugs that act on different steps in the pathway. And this is the most important thing that you have to remember. No? As you can see in this slide, your NSAIDs and opioids, if you combine both, it covers almost all of the pain pathway. The transduction, transmission, modulation, reception. Okay? So the opioids covers this, the NSAIDs cover that. That's why it's very important for you to remember the concept of multimodal analgesia. Again, I would like to emphasize, for example, if you have an opioid, tramadol, what's the mode of action of your tramadol? It's a weak mu opioid receptor agonist, and also a serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor, and you combine it with an NSAID, which is cyclooxygenase inhibitor. It will have a long-lasting central analgesia and also fast-acting and central and peripheral analgesia. So, mangyari ito, tramadol, yung opioids, long-lasting, mas matagal yung effect niya. Short-acting actually ang NSAIDs. Okay? So, you have greater efficacy, lower dosages to the individual components, and fewer undesirable side effects. That is the most important concept that you have to remember also, aside from during what we call the multimodal analgesia. So just to give you a brief idea of how painful your procedures are. If you are going to have minor surgery, you have, for example, inguinal hernia, varicocelectomy, gyne lang, pwede na yung opioids, non-opioids lang. Paracetamol, NSAIDs, you can do peripheral nerve block and also wound infiltration with local anesthetic. If you have hip replacement, hysterectomy, maxillofacial surgery, that is considered moderate pain. So you can give your big opioids, combine it with your NSAIDs. If your patient has undergone thoracotomy, upper abdominal surgery, and knee surgery, that is already considered a painful surgery. That's why you give your strong opioids. Okay? So you can give your strong opioids, combine it with your paracetamol and NSAIDs. Any questions at this point? Okay? Again, what are the 4 steps in the pain pathway? Transduction, transmission, perception, modulation. Yun lang. Ito ka lang. At least yun, alam nyo. Okay? How do you assess your pain scores? VAS score 1 to 3? Mild. Pag moderate, ilan? 4 to 6. Pag severe, 7 and above. Very good. Yun lang. At least you know that. Right? So later, di-discuss ko na yung kung paano mas mag-assess and yung mga post-op na pwede natin gawin. Okay? So just a fun fact, no? What are the top 10 most stressful jobs in the US? So, surprisingly, walang doctor dyan. So, the firefighter, the military personnel, general, airline pilot, police officer, actor, broadcaster, event coordinator, photojournalist, and newspaper reporter. Surprisingly, walang doctor dyan. How about sa ating anesthesiologist? What are the top 10 most stressful situations in our job as anesthesiologists? First, inadequate post-operative pain management. Top 10. Pag hindi mo na-manage yung pain, for example, ito, spinal surgery, spine surgery, nakaka-toxic yan. Okay? So, tatawagang pupulitin ka. Second, number 9, emergency general anesthesia in a morbidly obese patient, BMI more than 45. Okay? Next, number 8, an emergency CS under GA, in the wee hours of the morning. Okay, specifically sa mga buntis. Number 7, aspiration. No? Anyone experience aspiration? Patient? Ako? Recently, nagkaroon ako ng pedya patient na hindi sinabi ng mother na uminom siya. So, when I inducted, lumuha siya ng kulay blue, Gatorade. So, that is very, very stressful. That's why it's very important na you have to really exert more, no, when doing history. Next, any emergency surgery for a newborn baby. That is very, very stressful para sa atin, no? Kaya hindi ako nagpedya. Kaya galing ti Isa. Okay? Next, acute anaphylaxis. Okay? So, anyone experience na nagkaroon na anaphylaxis sa patients nyo? Ako, meron. Sa propofol. So, nagkaroon siya ng anaphylaxis talaga. Okay? Next, malignant hyperthermia. Anyone experienced malignant hyperthermia before? Sana hindi nyo maranasan. Pero, it can happen. Okay? Anyone? What are the signs of malignant hyperthermia? Fever?
Ang document.
Fever, tachycardia, seizure po.
Before that.
Tachycardia. Altered mental status. Christmas po.
Okay? I think meron tayong isa no, na protocol dun sa... Binabasa nyo ba yun? Nakalagay sa...
Alin daw yun, sir? Alin daw yun?
Okay. So dapat binabasa nyo yun. Lagi.
Pamaypay yun. Yun yung pinapamaypay nila
Number
ngayon
3,
mainit.
an intro of MI. No? So, I think nakaranas na iba sa inyo nito. No? How do you treat MI? Ang sasabihin nyo sa akin, refer to IM. Which is mali. Dapat you also know how to manage MI. Intro of. Anong pwede nyo bigay? Anyone?
Yung mga IM dyan. Hindi mo alam kung may
MI.
babalik kita naman.
Usually, refer nyo lang sa IM nito eh, di ba? E paano pag walang IM? Paano pag may private yun, tapos sa labas, wala kayong IM na matatawagan? Paano yung ma-manage? Ha? Kylie?
Aspirin.
Mag-ice cube na lang ako.
Patch. Yung mga patch na.
Touch. Ha?
Patch ba?
Patay tayo dito.
Kasi refer to IM sila.
Refer to IM. Next. Massive trauma patient injuries both to the airway and to their major vessels. Okay? So, I think nakakita kayo na yan. Okay? And lastly, the dreaded SICO, the syndrome of cannot intubate and cannot ventilate.
Parang familiar.
Kaya, I think may nakaranas na sa inyo nito. Kaya nga may reverse agents tayo, like your Rocoronio. Okay? Kaya kapag alanganin kayo, use a agent that you can reverse. That's why kaya nga may mga pang-reverse tayo, no? If alanganin kayo, you have all of the meds that we give, you should know how to reverse. That's the most important thing also that you have to keep in mind as an anesthesiologist. Kung ano yung bigay mo, dapat alam mo paano i-reverse or kung paano siya ma-eliminate in our body. Okay? I think that's the last slide. Any questions at this point? Questions?
Ako magtatanong.
Yes.
Kasi hindi nila tinatanong, when is the best time to give the
Best time?
Kasi napapansin ko sa kanila, pansin ko lang yung mga opioids, they start when the patient is already at the back.
Alin?
They start the pain medications, yung mga opioids, when the patient is already at the back. Nakailan siya yung patient,
Yes.
na siya.
Correct.
So
When should you give?
give?
Okay. Ideally, it should be given pre-operative pa yun. Pre-operatively pa lang. So, nagbibigay na kayo. Pero hindi opioids. You can give your, what? NSAIDs. You can give your NSAIDs pre-operatively pa lang. Give your NSAIDs, you can give your COX inhibitors, you can give your steroids. Bless you.
Wala ko may tinatawag siya.
Like your dexamethasone, hydrocortisone, you can give pre-operatively. Intraoperatively, I mean, ask me Dr. Raisa, the best time to give your opioids is intraoperatively. No? At least, before emergence, at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. Dapat in-start na yung drip nyo. Kasi why? Why? Why do you have to start your... Anyone? Why do you start your pre-meds 30 minutes to 1 hour before?
Para hindi na
Ikaw, Doktora.
Para hindi na
Para
nag-gain sa akin.
ma-reach na daw yung plasma concentration needed to affect yung
Very good.
Plus.
Very good. Pero, alam mo yung plasma concentration, right? Right? You have to know when will it start. Ano ba yung kailan yung onset niya? Okay? So, for example, opioids. Kailan ang onset niya? Kailan siya mag-peak? That's why you have to know. Kaya tama yung lagi tinatanong ni Dr. Raisa. Ini-start nyo sa pahu. Kaya, minsan, in pain na sila. Doon mo ka lang bibigay. So, start dose ka, no? So, if you're afraid na mag-emerge sila na tawag dito, na sedated sila, you have to adjust. No? I-adjust nyo yung dose nyo para hindi kayo magkaroon ng sedated patient post-op. Pwede pa rin naman kayo magkaroon ng gising na patient even if you start your opioids intra-op. Okay? Any more questions? Kylie, question? So hindi ka nasaktan kanina?
6 out of 10.
So, yun yan, no? Pain is very, very subjective. No? So, every patient, don't assume their pain scores. You have to ask them. You have to ask them their pain score or you give them a visual analog scale. Okay? Again, binibigyan ko na kayo ng tips. Pwede nyo gawin research yan. Napakadali lang. No more questions?
Kaya mo na nilagumran. Tsaka gawa ng research.